What do you do right after something doesn't go your way? When you miss the shot, when you slip up, when you're flooded with emotion, what's your move? This is where the real work starts. We talk about next play mentality a lot in sports, but it's more than just a coaching phrase. It's a way of living. It's about presence, about returning, about what's actually within your control. I remind my team often, the only thing you ever truly have is the present moment. That's not self-help. That's mindfulness. That's neuroscience. That's reality. Everything else is imagined. The future, it's hoped for or feared. The past, it's replayed or rewritten. But the present, it's the only place action can happen. People often talk about playing angry, about using adversity or disappointment as fuel, but let's look deeper. There's research out there that suggests negatively charged emotions like anger or shame can spike performance briefly, but they're shallow fuel sources. They don't last. They cloud decision-making, tighten your body, and burn out your nervous system. More importantly, they don't align with who you want to be. When your emotional baseline is volatile, your performance becomes unpredictable. You're outsourcing control to something outside yourself, and that's not power. That's fragility dressed up. If you want a better fuel source, go deeper. Ask yourself, why do I do this? Performance at its core should be an expression of who you are, or better yet, who you want to be, not a reaction to what someone else did. Mood follows action. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel calm. You just need to act in alignment with your values. And the mood, the clarity, the flow, it will follow. Discipline, presence, poise, those are choices. And those choices build momentum. Marcus Aurelius of renowned Stoic principles states, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That's next play mentality. You can't control the bad bounce. You can't control the referee. You can't control the crowd or the past or what happens next, but you can control how you return to the moment. That's what matters. In the book, The Inner Game of Tennis, Timothy Gallwey talks about two selves, the thinking mind and the doing mind. The overthinking, judging part, that's what keeps us stuck. But the present, observing part, the self that simply watches and returns, that's where flow lives. That's where growth happens. And neuroscience backs this. Data from research indicates that experienced meditators, the Olympians of mindfulness, repeatedly choosing calm, awareness, and self-regulation, it rewires the brain. It's not fake, it's plasticity. You train yourself into a calmer, more resilient version of you, but it takes intention. It takes practice. It takes poise. Now let's talk about failure. It's one of those words that we flinch at, even though every real breakthrough requires it. It carries this weight, this shame, but in my experience, both as a coach and just as a person trying to grow, failure is a non-negotiable part of the process. Sometimes I wish we had a different word for it, something less loaded, because failure isn't the opposite of growth. It is growth. It's the evidence that you're at the edge of your comfort zone. That's the place where change happens. Think about physiological training. When we lift weights, we literally train to failure. That's how muscles adapt. You push until the fibers break down. And that's what triggers growth. Why should it be any different mentally, emotionally, even spiritually? If you never feel the sting of missing the mark, you're not stretching. You're staying safe. And safe doesn't lead to strength, at least not the kind that lasts. What matters isn't the failure itself. It's the space right after. What story do you tell yourself? How do you show up the next moment? That's the heartbeat of the next play mentality. Next play mentality isn't a hack, it's a mindset. And it's a trainable one. And like everything I talk about, it's not a hard, fast rule. It's fodder for introspection. But I've seen it change lives, including my own. So here's the challenge. Next time something rattles you, what if instead of reacting, you returned? What if instead of spiraling, you breathed? And ask yourself, not why did this happen, but who do I want to be right now in this moment? That's the practice. So how do we actually train this? How do we stop chasing perfection or spiraling after mistakes and start choosing presence? Here's what I've seen work. Here's what I try to live out. And here's what I ask of my team. 1, practice the pause. Build a habit of breathing before reacting. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. The pause creates space. Space to choose the response that aligns with who you want to be. The pause is the moment of power. 2, redirect the mind. In practice and in games, bring your attention back to your breath, to your stance, to the next rep. You won't be perfect at it, no one is. But the act of returning is the training. That's how mindfulness works. Not through elimination of thought, but by learning to refocus. 3, normalize emotion. You're going to feel things. You're going to get frustrated, nervous, or disappointed. That doesn't make you weak. But the best performers, the ones I admire, aren't the ones who pretend they feel nothing. They're the ones who notice the emotion, acknowledge it, and stay composed anyway. We throw around the word cold-blooded in sports like it's the gold standard. But in my view, nothing is more impressive than an athlete who is in control of their emotions, not hiding them, not suppressing them, but in control of them. 4, get reps with recovery. Create drills that simulate failure. Put yourself in scenarios where something goes wrong, and then immediately move to the next thing. Treat emotional recovery the way you treat physical recovery, as a skill. Think fast reset, clean slate. 5, anchor to your why. When all else fails, return to your deeper reason. Why are you here? What do you stand for? This mindset isn't just about winning the next possession. It's about becoming someone you're proud of, regardless of the scoreboard or stat sheet. Mood follows action. Choose the next play.